This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, and the stories and the Todd Cochran and the lead stories are: Amazon gets in the drug business. Robots don't want your office job. A new survey's out on social media sites, and the results are really not that surprising. And of course, that and much, much more. I want to welcome you to the episode 1294 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, June 28th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider or simply paypal.me/geeknews. You can pick up Ohana gear at cafepress.com/Ohana store. I want to give a warm welcome all the new listeners. Thanks so much for being with me. I'm back from vacation and travel. I got a great, lot of information to share with you. I'm glad to be back in the saddle here. But most importantly, if you're brand new to the show, I want you to take time and get over to geeknewscentral.com. And when you do that, you're going to find a place to subscribe to the show right on the right-hand side column of the website, whether it be Apple Podcast, on Android, by email, by Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn. Of course, I'm on Spotify. Of course, there's a brand new Google Podcast app out as well, so we'll have a link up to that in a few days. But really, that's a place to go to get subscribed to the show. You want to get LinkedIn as well via our newsletter. That's a little bit further down on the website. Feel free to join our chat room. Our chat room is really kind of cool. It's a Mastodon server at geeknews.chat. You can jump over there and get hooked up with Ohana and join the conversation over there. So really, that's a great place to get connected with the Ohana. Or you can simply email me here, geeknews@gmail.com. Again, geeknews@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at geeknews. You can join our Slack channel if you'd rather use Slack. Slack is another place to connect. You can follow me on Google Plus or on Facebook. I'm going to reach back here. I've got the audio levels are up just a little too high. I'm going to tweak them just a second. I think that will help. There we go. Much better. Not so hot. But you can watch this show on the Roku. Of course, you can watch on Apple TV as well. You can listen on Stitcher, Blueberry.com, or if you have a smart home device like an Amazon Echo or Google Home or Microsoft Cortana device, you can tell those devices using the keyword to play the podcast Geek News Central. And that'll work just great to get the show started, the latest edition started on any one of those devices. Of course, partner shows include No Better Than Average with Jacob and Jeff, The Gadget Professor, Mr. Don Bain, Pro Gear site being written by my GNC team, the new media show that I co-host with Mr. Rob Greenlee, and of course, the Podcast Legends show at podcastlegends.com. The show is sponsored by our good friends over at GoDaddy.com, longest running continuous sponsor of a podcast known in the podcasting space. They've been with us really since June of 2005. So pretty exciting stuff. They've been around that long and continue to support the show. And we want you to take time to get over to, let me do that again. Take time to get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And when you're on the website, there's promo codes there for you to save 30% on new product purchases, 99cent.coms, $1 a month economy hosting with a free domain. That's $1 a month for the first year, $12 to get started. $1 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year, again with a free domain. So that's really the way to get connected and get started and get a site online. If you're a business owner, you may want to consider that GoDaddy website builder. Your choice of personal, business, or business plus plans, all they're included. You get $1, you get 1 month free of that as a trial as a business owner. Again, all these great codes can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. GoDaddy helps me keep the lights on here. Obviously, it's important for your ongoing support, and we appreciate it when you do take the time to go over and look at their products and services and use one of my promo codes. First and foremost, I want to give Kirk congratulations for getting through 3 episodes. I know that some of you have been sending him some feedback via email. That's good. I think he's got 6 episodes under his belt. Jack sent over some really good advice for him as well. So that'll help Kirk in future endeavors. It's not easy to step into this show's shoes, largely because I've been at this a long time, and Kirk's new to the game, and but he's the one that really does a lot of the show prep now, providing me with a list of articles to go through to get ready for the show. I think I added 5 or 6 today from things that he had found or things I found that he didn't, or maybe it was later breaking news stories. But good job on Kirk taking care of the helm here and keeping us rolling forward while I was out on travel. My trip was great. Great to be back. Traveled all over. More details on that down the road. But a little bit of a story on connectivity in the Philippines specifically. If you, in many areas, if you were close to a city, great connection. But if you got out remote, pretty tough situation in remote areas. Bandwidth was very difficult, to say the least. On prepaid stuff, it doesn't work as well unless you have a plan. I think they purposely throttle people on prepaid, but again, data was hit or miss. But many places had Wi-Fi in their little cafes and so forth, so that helped out as well. But more later. But glad to be back. Nice break, and anyway, getting very prepared now for Podcast Movement in the middle of July. Be heading to Philadelphia for that, and then back here for a while. Well, maybe a month and a half. I think I'm going to be going out to Texas. Probably a trip again to the East Coast. So by far, travel is not over for this year, but definitely going to be, basically, be around here for at least for the next month or so before anything goes down, or a month or more. So I'll be in the seat to get us to our this next milestone that's coming this month. If you think about it, we're 6 episodes, or now 5 episodes away from hitting 1,300 episodes. With Kirk doing the show, it keeps us more on track when I don't miss, and when there's an episode being put out while I'm gone. So I do like this format, and let me know. Give me some feedback on how it's been going, how you felt about Kirk doing the hosting duties. Definitely want your feedback on that as well. All right, I'm going to get into the content. Going to roll right into it tonight to get into the stack. I'm actually doing okay on the jet lag. I flew out of Manila at 10:30, and Manila is kind of a weird, crazy airport. And the number of security checks I had to go through was like 3, and even at the gate, an additional check-in security. That was, and getting through that was relatively easy. The airplane was a little bit late. Got on it, got into Guam, went through immigration there, no customs, and then caught the flight to Honolulu. I slept a little bit, but I arrived here at 6 p.m. yesterday. And by 9:30, 10, I was in bed and I got a decent night's sleep. And then today's been pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to hit the wall here or not, but the transition, it was definitely easier. Obviously coming east than going west. So hopefully I'll be back on track. But so far today, not so bad. And I feel pretty good about where I'm at. On a schedule standpoint. But let's talk a little bit about Amazon. Amazon is totally shaking up the drug business today, specifically drugstores, with a deal to buy online pharmacy PillPack. And immediately, Walgreens, Alliance, CVS Health, Rite Aid all saw significant hits to their stock price today. But PillPack packages, organizes, and delivers drugs. It sends customers packages with a specific number of medications they're supposed to take at specific times. The terms of the deal were not disclosed, but we do know that Walmart was in the hunt to buy this company as well. And it's definitely an interesting situation here. With Amazon potentially paying about $1 billion, you just think about the power of the Amazon delivery system and the ability to deliver pharmacy drugs, probably at discount, with a standard script being submitted digitally, working with insurance companies and everything else. It's going to be interesting. The specific startup that they bought had raised $118 million in funding from investors, including CRV and Menlo Ventures, and it reached more than $100 million in revenue in 2017. In 2016, it was reported to be valued at $330 million. So, big hit here. And so the drugstore industry could be ready for some disruption. We'll see where that goes. There's an interesting article on CNET talking about robots not wanting your miserable office job. And if you think about this just a little bit about robots, if we all are led to believe, or if we believe what we're reading, they're saying by 2030, robot automation will take about 300 million jobs away from people that currently have jobs in the manpower space. And so the question is, will a true AI robot be the one that's going to do those dull, repetitive office jobs that could be easily automated? Robots definitely can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't have to go out for smoke. They don't have to utilize social media. They don't have to eat, go to the bathroom, all those things that eat a lot of time. And but CNET's of the impression that these mundane jobs will be too dull for Johnny Robot, and will not be well suited for office works because they won't be witty. They won't talk at the water cooler. You don't have to worry about a divorce or inter-office affair, any of that stuff. But they're firmly believe that robots don't belong in the 9 to 5. I don't know about this. We'll have to see. And I guess maybe us humans may be left to the menial work. Just the basic stuff. And the robots will take care of, or automation will take care of everything else. So what do you think? Do you think that when AI super machines of the future get here, do you think they'll want to come to office? They're definitely not going to want to participate in team building exercises. That can just be programmed in, right? So time will tell. And there's a pretty cool little video about this up as well. A little fun thought here for you to kick off the show. There's a survey out that, if you think about it, probably makes a lot of sense from a results standpoint. A Pew study shows that a good chunk of the public thinks social media platforms are biased towards liberal views. In a survey conducted between May 29th and June 11th among 4,594 U.S. adults, of those surveyed, 43% that think technology companies favor liberal over conservative viewpoints, and 72% think it's likely that social media companies intentionally censor political viewpoints they find objectionable. Those opinions are obviously most strongly held by Republicans, with 64% saying tech companies favor liberal views and 85% saying it's likely social media sites censor political views. I wondered what the actual number is for Democrats on this. And of course, this data comes on the heels of a report from the Washington Post on Wednesday saying that Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey has met with conservative leaders to discuss potential political bias on the platform. And of course, it's been a topic raised during Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's congressional hearings back in April. So I think there's the perception. I think that's the key here. And that's the key word that they made. I don't know what we're missing in online. I don't know what that context really is because I block a lot of the political stuff anyway. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Love to hear your thoughts. geeknews@gmail.com. JP Morgan Chase is taking smartphone account PIN nationwide. They said today that it is now offering a digital bank accounts for smartphones nationally after testing and refining the app in St. Louis since October. The account, known as Fin by Chase, is geared especially towards young adults who want to do their transactions on the phone, have no wish to go branches, and say they would likely help saving money. The national offer comes as banks, large and small, look for ways to use smartphones to compete for customers' deposit inexpensively. Citigroup, which is branched in just 6 U.S. cities, said March it will offer digital accounts nationally later this year. Citizens Financial Group, a regional bank based in Rhode Island, has said it will launch a national platform in the third quarter. And the banks, however, want to avoid competing solely by paying higher interest rates. To get the customers for Fin, JP Morgan is offering $100 to people who open an account and complete 10 transactions of certain types, such as sending money to another person or paying a bill. The incentive is designed to make customers familiar with the app. She believes customers will stick with the account after seeing they can automatically make deposits to their savings account, such as moving $2 from their checking account every time they spend $5 with the app at Starbucks. So the bank is paying Fin users the same modest rate it pays deposits to standard Chase accounts. Charles Schwab has a banking account that pays 2% interest on a checking account. That is about the best in the space. And I moved a little bit of my banking to Charles Schwab to start, and you can also use it for investment accounts. So something to consider there. But anyway, we'll see. JP Morgan has 5,100 branches, 23 states, and is plans to open 400 new offices. Now, here's something to consider. Most of these digital deposits, if you get a big refund check, $5,000 or more, let's say you get a refund check for Uncle Sam, is $5,100. Most banks, and we'll have to check on this on Fin, have a maximum deposit rate with a check that you get of $5,000. You can't deposit a check larger than that digitally. You have to take that check to the bank. Now, I know that's not all of us are getting a $5,000 check every once in a while. You know, some of us once a year when it comes to maybe a tax refund. So the question I would have on this Fin account is, what is the maximum deposit that can be made through a check that you receive? I think that would hinge a lot for me deciding whether I'd want to be digital or not. Kirk was predicting this. He was not a big fan of this particular service, but Verizon has shut down its free Go90 video streaming service. Its final day is July 31st, and they're pulling the plug. And Go90 offers live sports, licensed television shows, and short-form original programming in an ad-supported model. Though it struggled to find an audience during its time on the market in 2018, following a concerted effort by Verizon to expand the reach of Go90 content, the service's audience has topped out an average of 17 million unique viewers per month, which is horrible. The Go90 app supposedly was most useful in providing access to live sports programming, including soccer, NBA, and NFL games. So Go90 is gone if you were a Verizon customer. Something today that I saw that came up was something that Walmart's doing. And I think this, of all things I've seen recently, is pretty smart on Walmart's part. Walmart is testing allowing customers to shop a curated virtual apartment. As an example, they bring you into the VR apartment. And basically, they have products staged throughout the room. They'll have stuff on the wall. They'll have desks. They'll have chairs. They'll have serving trays, china, cabinets, little cubby holders, all kinds of different stuff in a pre-made up room that if you're interested in, you just click on the icon that's next to, let's say, a chair, and it gives you the details on how much that chair cost, and you can order it. Now, I think this is brilliant in that they've got everything kind of coordinated here. So if you're going to do a portion of let's say you're going to redo an office, or you're buying furniture for the first time for a living room, you can get an idea what it's going to look like in a real-time setting. You can check the color options and a whole bunch of stuff. And I think this is really brilliant on Walmart's. I really do, because we're visual beasts. Have you ever bought something, taken it home, and set it down where you thought it was going to go, and it just looked god awful? We've all done that, right? We had to take something back because it really didn't look the way we thought it would in an environment. And while the stuff that Walmart has here is not extraordinary, it is Walmart price type of furniture and tapestries and that kind of stuff. I think this is brilliant by Walmart, and we'll see if this is going to work and it's going to help drive some sales of the products that they have. But I give them an A for effort here. I really, really do. But time will tell on this. It really will. Moving on here, Exactis, and many of you probably never heard of this company, including myself, but Exactis, Exactis had a data breach that's put 340 million people and businesses in the United States. Information basically is at risk, has been hacked. They're a marketing firm, and according to a report, Exactis has exposed a database that contained individual records on a public accessible server, and it's estimated that some 230 million people, 110 million business information, including phone numbers, home addresses, and email addresses, were exposed. So there was no social security information, luckily, and they don't know who, if anybody, got access to it, but the file was publicly available and likely was obtained by someone. Don't worry, these hackers have everything they need to ruin every one of our lives, I think. Google Maps could help you avoid 4th of July traffic. Don't miss the festivities because you're stuck in traffic. And Google Maps took a look at traffic on national holidays from 25 cities in the U.S. and some advice to share that could help keep you out of a jam. The report out today shows if you go somewhere on July 4th, it's best to leave on July 3rd. Early in the morning or late evening. And whatever you do, avoid being on the road at 3 p.m. on the 4th. That's when the traffic is at its heaviest. Google released similar data in 2017. But you can go look at the entire data. The list includes Atlanta, Chicago, Houston, Raleigh, St. Louis, and Tampa. Yes, there's some more here, but they're not in this article breakdown. But you can see how bad it's going to be on the 4th. California has just passed one of the toughest data privacy laws in the country. And the California Consumer Privacy Act of 2018 is set to be enacted in full by 2020. It states that companies that store personal information from major players like Google and Facebook down to small businesses will be required to disclose the types of data they collect, as well as allow consumers to opt out of having their data sold. And the bill was signed by the governor today. And the legislation is similar to Europe's new GDPR protections. It is the result of a last-minute attempt to head off a ballot measure that would have brought a slightly different set of privacy rules to the state. The just-passed bill does not fully reproduce the initiative. It would, among other differences, require the disclosure of only the category or third party that receives personal information instead of the identity of the third party itself. But the legislation was close enough that the campaign for the ballot measure agreed to pull its proposal if the bill was signed into law by the deadline to withdraw today. So Amazon and AT&T obviously lined up to block the measure, pouring millions of dollars in an opposing organization. And but that didn't happen. It definitely was signed, and I think it takes to 2020 to everything is going to be enacted. If you use Slack as much as I do, there's a cool article out on at makeuseof.com talking about how to declutter Slack, and it really goes into some. And I don't really find Slack to be that cluttered, but if you want to improve your performance or improve your ability to keep track of stuff, this may be a good thing to go through if you're a heavy Slack user like I am. I'm in many, many, many Slack channels, and it's truly been a life changer. And it's email has largely went by the wayside for most everyday communications. If you're a Spotify user, the Android app will finally let you reposition songs in a playlist. And I'm not sure, I've not used Spotify on an Android device. I guess this was a big issue. But anyway, this is something you've been asking for. And you can reorder stuff. Of course, you can remove songs from a playlist and so forth. But we'll see how your response is to this, those of you that use Spotify. How many of you live on a second or third floor of a building with no elevator? Well, there's a new cart out that lets you lug your stuff around in a stair-climbing $20 cart. It basically makes it easy to go up the stairs without going bang, 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 bang. And I think what they've done here with this cart design is it's what it is in the back wheels. And this is no brainer for any of you that live in a city or are basically on the third floor and want to have it easier to carry your groceries up. So I have that link up in the show notes for you. Of course, the article says it's currently sold out. So we'll keep you advised, or at least visit the site and see when it comes in and back order it. The Lego and iPhone connect for low-cost nerve gas detector. And really what this was, they put together a detector to determine sarin nerve gas. And so University of Texas, Austin, and have come up with a simple way to identify and detect nerve agents. But basically, all they really built here was an analysis platform, and they built this with off-the-shelf type of equipment, but it's not a complete deal. At its heart, it's a chemical sensor that changes colors to brightness to indicate when nerve agents are present, how concentrated they are. And they say it can be difficult to see the differences level of fluorescence with the naked eye in the field. And the instrument used in a lab to measure fluorescence are not portable. They cost like $30,000. But this solution is use a smartphone to photograph and analyze the sensor's results. So they're able to really dumb this thing down. But if you want to build your own gas detector, this is a total doable job. And again, it's using Legos and a bunch of off-the-shelf parts and using the camera within the iPhone to determine if it's detecting a low-cost, basically, if it's detecting a nerve agent. Now, I'm not really sure where you would use this or be wanting to detect a nerve agent around this without being suited up. But anyway, they were able to do it. It's kind of cool use of technology. Probably nothing real practical there. There's a new exploit for Android out. It's called Rampage. Yes, RAM Page. And some good information about the exploit is out there. And they've went through this a little bit. The latest exploit is affecting millions of devices, and it's a variation of a previous attack that uses the Rowhammer hardware vulnerability to run malicious code. by changing what's stored in your device's memory and has a potential of data loss and to allow unauthorized access. In other words, someone using Rampage could get into your phone and have control. So just be aware this is out there, and how it's actually attacking different devices and the attack mechanism. But again, it largely comes from malicious apps. So just be aware of that. Know the apps that you're getting, who they're from, if it's a reputable company that's making the app. Just before I left for travel, I was trying to buy Bruno Mars tickets again. And I'll be honest with you, it was extremely frustrating. Ticketmaster, I swear there's some sort of scam going on with Ticketmaster. We tried and we really couldn't get any tickets bought. And I had to be at the airport at a certain time, and we just finally gave up. Event ticket market is stacked really against you. A venue that can accommodate 20,000 wild fans can sell out about the time it takes you to log into your computer. And before tickets even go on sale, entire batches are claimed by artists' own organization, corporate sponsors, season pass holders, and others. Nearly 20% of available seats are gone by the time you click to purchase your tickets. And unlike when buying an airline ticket, where you can get a good deal at the last minute, waiting till the last minute to buy event tickets just doesn't work. There's some options out there that are better, supposing, than Ticketmaster if you want to get awesome seats at popular, hard to get into shows. There's online city tickets. There's good seat ticket. There's bargain seats online. You've got Ticket City, RazorGator. So I don't know how these folks do this and how they're able to buy these tickets when we can't through Ticketmaster or other sites. And you're going to be paying a little bit of a premium. So it must be they automate purchase of some tickets and then resell them. I don't know exactly what it is, but it is a little annoying. It's near impossible. Even people that were at the box office weren't able to get tickets on the second round of sales as well. But what's your guys' experience been in buying concert tickets? How do you assure without getting one without going through a scalper? Because I think that's what most folks end up having to do these days. It's just totally idiotic that you can't buy tickets to concerts, especially when there's like 40,000 tickets available, and you get in, it's the whole stadium sold out within 2 minutes. It's totally insane. Moving on here, Instagram Stories now allow its 400 million users to add soundtracks. So they've done some licensing deals. The right music can make a boring photo video epic. So TechCrunch had the scoop on their music feature prototype in early May, but they were able to get music from people like Bruno Mars, Dua Lipa, Calvin Harris, Guns N' Roses. So it could make it a lot easier for you to add some music to your video or whatever you're putting up there. So a good move here by Instagram on and being able to get access to a lot of music. Now, right now, let me see here. Now there are more countries following today's launch. Australia, New Zealand, France, Germany, Sweden, UK, and US did launch today. The rest, there will be more countries later. So anyway, link will be up in the show notes for those of you that are on Instagram. Do you have a Kroger grocery store near you? America's largest supermarket chain is launching a fully driverless delivery service. Kroger is teaming up with Nuro, N-U-R-O, a startup founded by two veterans of Google self-driving team. And they want to launch a fully driverless delivery service, the company announced today. A pilot will be rolled out in yet to be announced city. Nuro will use a fleet of self-driving test vehicles with human safety drivers to make deliveries for Kroger grocery stores. Customers can track and interact with the vehicles via a Nuro app. or Kroger's pre-existing online delivery platform. But if Nero's human test drivers don't get out to help you, don't be mad, because in this driverless future, you're going to have to walk out and unload your own groceries. So while there's going to be a driver with these, this is definitely a test to see how well it works in these test cities. Kroger has 28 stores in 35 states and serves around 9 million customers every day. Nearly 3/4 of those customers access or use Kroger's delivery service, according to Yale Cassette, the company's chief digital officer. So, pretty cool. Don't like going to the grocery store. Niantic, the company behind Pokemon Go or Ingress, has announced that they're after creating the massively successful augmented reality games, their plan is to open up the underlying AR platform behind its products to third-party developers. So CEO John Hanke gave a detailed overview of the technology, what Niantic calls the real-world platform. It's the engine behind the AR experience in Ingress and Pokemon Go, and the upcoming title Harry Potter Wizard Unite that the company's developing alongside Warner Brothers. And Niantic says it's getting better all the time. So this is pretty cool. And they are opening this up to folks that want to build on their platform, which is totally awesome. All right. If you fly and you don't have a carrier locked into and you like legroom, well, in this order is the order in which flights or carriers have the most legroom. Number 1 comes as JetBlue. Number 2, Alaska. Number 3, Southwest Airlines. Number 4, United. Number 5, Hawaiian. Number 6, American. And number 7, Delta. To be fair, Delta, American, and Hawaiian all tied. United only gave 1 inch to 2 inches more room than American and the others did. Southwest and United tied. Actually, Southwest, United, and Alaska tied together, giving 31 to 32 inches, where JetBlue had the most at 32 to 33. And so anyway, that gives you kind of a rundown. So we're talking a total of 3 inches here in difference. So not that much delta there, really. There's a new feature in Google Maps, and they have an Explore tab now, and it'll give you restaurant recommendations. So if you are traveling someplace and you want to look for some food, all you got to do is click on the Explore tab within Google Maps, and it's giving you some personalized recommendations for what to eat, drink, and do. Lists from Google algorithms and human creators can help you find the area's best burgers, pizza, cocktails, and more. And if you're using an Android phone, it can even guess how much you'll like a new spot before you step foot in the door. So if you don't see it yet as an option, be patient. They're rolling it out as a part of the update. So pretty cool stuff here. I'm always looking for different ways to find different places to eat. There's always been a couple of primary apps I go to, but it'd be nice to try something new. The president today hails iPhone maker Foxconn for the $10 billion investment in a new manufacturing plant in Wisconsin. And so they had a groundbreaking ceremony today. The president joined Foxconn CEO Terry Gou and Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker and other officials in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, to break ground in a new $10 billion electronic manufacturing plant. He hailed the CEO of Foxconn as one of the great businessmen in the world and said that Foxconn is working with 26 local Wisconsin companies to build its facility. And of course, Foxconn is a Chinese company that assembles most of the Apple iPhones. This new 20 million square foot factory will produce LCD displays and employ as many as 13,000 people, officials said in an initial announcement made by the White House nearly a year ago. So it's a big investment. Nice to see them moving manufacturing to the United States instead of out. How many of you have ever used Tidal, the Tidal music app? Boy, there's some big fans out there still. There's a write up on The Verge talking about how it has high fidelity sound quality and how it's such a great app, and they don't understand how it's not competing with Spotify and so forth. But it appears that growth has been stymied maybe a little bit by company politics and company marketing efforts, but it definitely is a rough gem out there. If you've used Tidal, I'd love to hear from you as well on this. But anyway, good write up on it. You know that when Microsoft bought GitHub, you know who said, "Oh shucks"? Well, Google did. We know that Microsoft scooped up the popular code repository for $7.5 billion, but it appears Google was interested as well. Diane Green admitted GitHub was an attractive target for the company. She says, I wouldn't have minded buying them, but it's okay, she reported. And she goes on to say, I really hope Microsoft can keep them totally neutral. So that is the true test when it comes to that acquisition. Time will tell on that. AT&T has been fined $5.25 million over a 911 outage that dropped 15,000 calls to emergency services. That's way less than what T-Mobile paid in 2015. Obviously, when you call 911, you expect emergency service to pick up the phone, but last year, AT&T dropped some 15,000 emergency calls and failed to notify call centers quickly. And now the company, again, has been fined $5.25 million. And AT&T's fine is smaller than the $17.5 million fine that T-Mobile had to pay in 2005 after 3 hours of 9/11 downtime, or the $16 million settlement against CenturyLink that year as well. And AT&T has said providing access to emergency 911 service is critically important. And to that end, we cooperated with the FCC in the review, and AT&T spokesman told CNET these events resulted from planned network changes that inadvertently interfered with the routing of 911 calls. We have taken steps to prevent this from happening again, to the tune of $5.25 million. You're looking to game a little faster? Well, game faster with an NVIDIA GTX 1060 equipped Dell laptop for $880. That's $200 off a brand new gaming laptop with potent graphics and processing. I have that link to that laptop up in the show notes. The Sony Xperia XZ2 Premium is shipping in July for $1,000. You're paying the premium for the 4K HDR camera and which are pretty high tech. So that's what is introducing the higher price point. Let's see here. Let me skip this one. Total Google Pixel 2 case review. So if you have a Pixel 2, it's pretty good to review on this case for the Pixel 2. Good article on space.com talking about the best sci-fi and space games on mobile, and it goes through 32 different games. And I am not a mobile phone gamer, but Xenowork for iOS and Android. Let's see what else. Sid Meier's Starships, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Pin Out, Nova Legacy. So again, a lot of sci-fi games. Total list being 32. Of course, Galaga Wars was one of them. But anyway, if you're into that and are looking to pick up some sci-fi games for your mobile device for the 4th of July weekend, or not weekend, weekday, I guess, link will be up in the show notes for you. New and upcoming phones, Galaxy Note 9 and others are expecting in 2018. And so they're definitely expecting Galaxy Note 9, Google Pixel 3 and 3 XL. Again, phones we're expecting this year. Apple Phone 11, the Apple Phone 9 and 9 Plus, the LG V40. And they've got some write-ups on each one of these. So if you're in the market for a new phone, which I will be when we get the newest iPhone roll, I'll be definitely looking at the new iPhones. There's some smart home deals over the 4th of July. I have the link up in the show notes on that. So it's everything from KitchenAid stuff to refrigerators, Rangers, dishwashers, washing machines, you name it, on sale over the 4th. All right. Let's see here. I think that was it. Yeah, it was the last one. Bada bing, bada boom. So let me go here and see. I don't think there was any comments that came in. No. So we're free of show notes. And wow, I'm really short on time today. I guess I have to dig. Of course, I didn't spend a lot of time in the intro today, but we'll have to dig a little bit deeper for more content for the next show because this is a little too short for the podcast. But I want to thank everyone for hanging here. And I know Rita, you've been watching, and anyway, it's been fun being back in the saddle with you. Probably just as well that I wrap up a little early on this show. Starting to get a little punchy, so that's a good thing. Get things wrapped up and get in bed. Try to get here on cycle. But I definitely appreciate you being with us. Geeknews@gmail.com. Geeknews@gmail.com. Please consider supporting GoDaddy. And if you can't yourself, definitely look at sharing my codes with your friends, family members, people that you know. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. For our insiders out there, thank you for supporting the show. And again, you can become an insider by going to geeknewscentral.com/insider. Definitely support us with your $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, or $25 monthly donation. It is greatly appreciated. Definitely every penny counts, goes a long, long way. And I want to thank you for the bottom of my heart for, basically being with the show. And hopefully this little recharge I had will take me through the rest of the year, but definitely needed it. But everyone, we'll see you next time here on Geek News Central and the Geek News Central podcast at geeknewscentral.com. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time. Aloha.